Hi, it's Weston I, and today I am talking about the new drone simulator, Tryp FPV. I became an FPV pilot about 7 months ago, been flying some cinematic FPV and the shots look great, but you can't just get a drone out and start flying it right away. No, these FPV drones are really tough to fly when you're beginning. I have years of experience flying drones, but the FPV drones are a completely different breed. They are very fast, very dangerous, and expensive if you crash, so you really don't want to. And the answer to not crashing as much is practicing in the simulator. Now, previously you had the Drone Racing League simulator, Liftoff, Velocidrone, things like that to practice your FPV skills in and to learn the basics in an environment where it's not going to cost you any money every time you crash. Now, I personally learned the basics on the simulator Liftoff. It's a really good simulator, pretty accurate. It's not the best, it's a little floaty sometimes, but I learned the basics and now I can fly my real drone pretty well, all from learning in the Liftoff simulator. But Liftoff has some limitations, especially in the graphics department. The graphics don't look that good and the maps are pretty small, you can't go that far. It also has a few other downsides, which I'm not going to be getting into all of them. This is not a review of Liftoff, this is a review of Tryp FPV. I first heard of this simulator in the FPV drone group that I'm in on Facebook, and it piqued my interest immediately when I saw it. The Tryp FPV Simulator is made in the Unreal Engine, making all the graphics look really good. Now, I have an M1 MacBook Pro from 2020. It's a really good computer, but it can't run the graphics at full 100%, so I have to run it at medium settings, but it still looks so much better than Liftoff. With some of the features they're touting, like chasing cars, motorbikes, really big maps, this thing is really looking promising. Now, the simulator just came out and it's very new, has a lot of bugs. It took me forever to get my FrSky Horus X10 to connect to the thing. It was really frustrating, but after like 30 minutes of trying, I finally got it connected and I was finally able to fly in the sim. It's still glitchy, it still has some problems, the flight mechanics are still a little wonky and weird. The drone sticks to stuff, the drone like crashes funny, and it's really saggy sometimes. I tried using a 6S LiPo and it was a little better on there, and so it's probably just the 4S being really saggy, but my real life 4S isn't that saggy, so I don't know what was going on. This is basically like looking at a pre-release camera. It's still gonna be super buggy, it's still gonna have all sorts of problems, but you'll get to see all the things that it's gonna be capable of and really get excited for how good this simulator is gonna be in the next coming months. So the way to get Tryp FPV for yourself, and it's really easy, you just go into your Steam account and buy Tryp FPV. It was like $11.99 or something like that, super cheap for a simulator. That's its current early release price, so I don't know how much it's gonna be when it finally comes out, so I got it really cheap, and you can get it really cheap if you go and get it now, which I highly suggest because I've been having a blast. You just go and buy it and install it and hit play. Now, when you're trying to hook up your controller, make sure you turn the controller on first, plug the controller into USB, and then launch Tryp FPV. Don't plug it in or do anything else different, otherwise you'll have the same problem. This is my controller here, the FrSky Horus. And it had the hardest time connecting unless I followed that exact protocol. Turn on the remote controller, plug it in, and then launch the game, and then go through and calibrate the sticks. This right here is the home screen, and we have options like Trip Mode, which is for cinematic FPV, Race Mode, where you get to go through those little hoops and squares and stuff and try to beat your time, that's really fun, and Options. And in Options, you can adjust your rates, which is still a little confusing right now. Your drones, this is really awesome. I made my own drone there. You can do a freestyle 5-inch. You can apparently do a long range 7-inch. That one didn't work when I tried it. There's still some bugs. And what's really cool is you can practice with a cine lifter. This is an octocopter with a little Z-cam on there, a little red Komodo sized deal, and you can practice, which that's what I personally want to do in the future, is fly a red Komodo on a cine lifter. So that's really cool that they give you one of those options. Whoever built this game knows a little bit about FPV. No, they know a lot about FPV. I mean, the little pictures they have, you actually have like Polar Pro NDs on the GoPros, and the models are super accurate. This is crazy. Whoever is in charge of building this and the devs on this are definitely FPV pilots, you can tell, because they put attention to detail into the things that matter to us actual pilots. You can adjust your audio, display, controls, video settings. I have all of my video settings kind of at the medium to low because I want more FPS rather than just really, really high quality. But even in medium settings, this thing looks amazing. I'm really impressed. First, let's go to the Desert Lost Temple. I really like this. They have charging lipos as their load screen, and another win for Tryp FPV. Even though they have much bigger maps, much higher quality, the thing loads in 3 or 4 seconds, whereas Liftoff takes 15, 20, 30 seconds. It's kind of annoying. So you can get into a different map super fast. All right, I'm all loaded in. The drone is on, armed, and ready to go. Let's do this. Look at this scenery. Even in medium settings, this looks so good. We got some hot air balloons up here. In Liftoff by now, I would already be hitting the border of the map and it would just be forcing me to go back down. You can go right up to these things, it's crazy. I feel like Johnny FPV right now. Not quite as smooth as him, but still really fun. I remember seeing him doing this in one of his videos. As you approach, you can see the textures load. Yeah, when you get really close to textures and highly detailed stuff like this funky pyramid here, you can see the game starts to really lag, and I've noticed this whenever I'm diving anything and I get close, and I'm thinking it could just be my computer. I imagine a better computer would be able to handle it. Whoop! Yeah, that's a funny thing, is when you crash, it bounces really weirdly. You'll notice as you get really close to objects, you hear a little whoosh sound. Listen. It's a cool little sound effect. I mean, obviously you don't hear that when you're in the goggles, but it is pretty cool. A difference this has from Liftoff, at least, is Liftoff has prop damage and eventually the quad becomes unflyable as you hit things. Whereas this, it just bounces. Like that. So when you get stuck like this, you can either hit the R button to reset, or you can hit the T button and it flips you back over. Look at those details. Although I think I'm lost down under something, so I might have to use the R button. Yep, let's use the R button. There we go. So the R button resets you back to the place you started. I mean, it's kind of nice being able to hit something and just keep flying. It's really hard to talk and fly at the same time, I'm sorry. I am not a game streamer, I don't know how they do this. Talk and play at the same time, this is crazy. I think I've clipped into a wall and I can't get out. So I'm gonna hit R. Still some weird little glitches. The sunlight effects are really cool. I mean, it's the Unreal Engine, all the light looks good. The way it throws you around like a ping pong ball is a little jarring and annoying sometimes. Now, at this point, freestyle is probably not this simulator's strongest point. While it still is plenty of fun, this simulator is built for cinematic FPV, and that's what we're going to look at in the next map. Here we go. To get to the next map, I just hit the escape button, back to menu, confirm, charging lipos again, cool screen right there, and then go to trip mode, select map, and then alpine ride. All right, so it starts us off on this little rock and then we take off, and check that out. Look at how good that looks. Now, in this map, my frame rate is not excellent. Now with a better computer or maybe better optimization, I will be able to run this at higher frame rates in the future. But at this point, this is pretty good and it's pretty fun. I could lower the settings down even farther and just shred it and take advantage of the fact that this is a much bigger map than Liftoff and it actually has mountains. Liftoff does not really have mountains. I mean, look at these views. You can go all the way up here and they're still super detailed, but then we get all choppy when we get really close to it. Even though it's a low frame rate, it's really cool actually getting to practice what moves make for the best cinematic diving shots when going down a mountain like this. Another cool thing you can do is use your arrow keys to remotely adjust the tilt of your camera. So now I have it up at 68 degrees. See how fast we can go up this. I am flat out, not very good for the battery. And there we got to a pretty much unusable frame rate. I'm gonna set it back to a more usable pitch. Over here is pretty cool. It's got the dirt bike jump. I have yet to figure out how to get a dirt bike on there, but once I figure that out, that's gonna be pretty cool. So apparently I'll be able to track a dirt bike going over that. I don't know where he's planning on landing, but that'll be pretty epic. It does become a bit of a challenge navigating around in lower frame rates like this. But if you have a really, really good gaming PC, you'll be able to run this full res and absolutely be blown away by the graphics. This sim is making me want to build crazy gaming rig. Now the other map has a lot less detail and it's a little smaller, so you can get much better frame rates on the other map. But this one, just for the scenery alone, is really cool. All right, we're gonna go back to the main menu and check out the racing mode. So instead of trip mode, we go to race mode, go race. All right, for racing, I'm gonna adjust it up to 55 degrees of pitch for the FPV camera. Let's go. There we go. My top speed on that run was 7.48 seconds. Just did a 8.64 second run, so not too bad. I am by no means a racer. I fly cinematic FPV, but still good to practice your racing skills to be able to hone your twitchy movements, I guess. All right, one more run. Nice, basically the same exact time. All right, let's go back to the main menu. We can also try the castle dive race, which is rated as hard, so I will most definitely fail. All right, we're gonna try a different video setting. If we just take the overall quality down to low on everything, let's see if we get better performance. Oh, okay, that looks really bad. Oh, much better frame rate. Now I can't see anything. Oh yeah, that performs way better. Every stick movement is snappier. But yeah, like I said earlier, even though my quality is set really low, I'm still on an absolutely massive map where I can dive mountains. That is not something you can do in Liftoff. I'm gonna have to practice this more though. I feel like I am gaining some skills doing it. All right, under a minute. Let's go. Now you can get medals and stuff and ranks and different things like that. Also, A leaderboard will be available soon. I most definitely will not be on that. But for the life of me, I cannot find where to do chasing of things. Just for kicks, let's put the video settings on Ultra. All right, let's see what Ultra looks like. It's probably gonna be 1 frame per second, but at least we can see what it'll look like. Okay, yeah. But yeah, if you have a really, really nice computer, this is what Ultra looks like. A completely unusable frame rate, but very cool graphics. Now, my simulator of choice in the past, Liftoff, is still a really good simulator, and I still plan on practicing in this simulator a lot. But now I'm gonna feel a little bit spoiled for graphics quality after using Tryp FPV. One of the things I hate the most about Liftoff is how long it takes to load. The maps are like 10 times more simple than the Tryp FPV maps, but I guess because it's not using the Unreal Engine, it takes forever to load. Oh yeah, way more frame rate to play with in this sim. You can see in Liftoff, when you crash into something, you lose props and then it gets damaged and you get reset. So a little more realistic on Liftoff's end, but a little bit annoying when you do that and you have to reset every time you hit something, you don't just bounce off. In Liftoff though, in terms of diving, the 3D models leave a lot to be desired. There we go, the dive is done. Of course, Liftoff has a lot of maps and lots of different places to fly, but it's nowhere near as good looking as Tryp FPV. Okay, Future Weston here. I figured out how to chase cars and motorcycles and stuff like that. You have to hit M on your keyboard and it brings the mini maps up. So you can select cars or motorcycles. Let's try the motorcycle here first. So it starts you off with a motorcyclist already going. We just gotta chase him down. And another thing, it goes right through trees for some reason, and it doesn't really recognize branches, so that could be a little bit of a problem. Hopefully the devs can fix that soon. All right, let's go try the car. Let's see what that looks like. Oh boy. Oh, he's out of here already. Got a rally car. Let's go. There we go. Chasing a drifting rally car in the sim. This is what it's about. Now, I've never done this before, so I'm not that good at it. Only thing that registers when you hit a tree is the trunk, not the leaves or the needles. Stuck on the car. The drone is still somehow completely fine after that. With these graphics, I feel like I could make a drift video here in the sim. I mean, it wouldn't look amazing, but it would look really cool. Whoa. I love all the little sun flares that come off the car body when I drive around it. A little attention to detail there. Whoa. There's a motorcyclist at the same time. I found a motorcyclist. So I guess all of the things happen at the same time with the car and the motorcycle, and you just get placed at different spots on the mini-map while it's happening. Interesting. Well, I have to say, this is an absolute blast. I'm having so much fun doing this, and really glad I figured out how to access the cars and motorcycles and all the tracking stuff, because this is super fun. Again, it's hard to talk and fly at the same time. All right, we're done. In conclusion, I am super excited to see where the Undead developers are gonna take this program. I already have logged 4.1 hours of time into it, and I'm loving it so far. There's still some hiccups, but it's still pretty usable, and it's a great place to practice my mountain diving. It's not really something I can practice in Liftoff. Now, do I recommend Tryp FPV? For $11, absolutely yes, it's something excellent to add to your FPV arsenal, and if you have a better computer than me, then you're gonna be golden already. It's going to work a lot better on your computer than my little laptop. So definitely go for it if you have that, and play around with the tuning settings of the drones to get it to feel just right for you. I've been doing everything on stock tuning for this review, and I will probably go in and change my rates afterwards. Feels a little funky at times, but it's a really good simulator. I have tried worse. The 3D models, the Unreal Engine, everything about this shows so much promise. It's super exciting, super fun. I had a blast flying this. Had a few frustrations along the way, but still had a good time and felt like I learned something and have added to my skills. So head on over to your Steam account and download Tryp FPV, and you will definitely have a blast with this thing. Unless you're on a super old laptop, then you're going to want to throw it across the room. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all those things that the YouTubers always tell you to do, and I will see you in the next video.